Have you ever tasted devastating failure? That feeling, it's not just the loss of money or opportunity. It's the loss of faith in yourself. It's the terrible confirmation that your effort was not enough. Most people crumble after one major setback because they believe it to be the final judgment of fate. However, the quote from Donald Trump, "Sometimes by losing a battle, you find a new way to win the war," points in the opposite direction. This is the philosophy of those who look beyond the immediate victory. Those who understand that the real battlefield lies in persistence and perspective. Because sometimes, defeat is the very doorway that leads to another path, where the will is forged and true strength is truly born. History is filled with men who fought their whole lives just to claim one fleeting victory. But there are others who, though their bodies fall and their flags are torn, ignite a flame that makes an entire nation rise. He lost, in the way others call a tragedy, but in that defeat, he won something no one could ever take: freedom. And when we look back, that is the greatest victory of all, a victory he didn't need to survive to enjoy. And that story is the story of William Wallace. Before witnessing the moment of collapse, remember the dazzling glory of William. After the magnificent victory at Stirling Bridge, he went from a commoner to the Guardian of Scotland, a revered general. He had led them to hope, proving that English oppression was not their destiny. But victory is often its own most dangerous enemy. The early morning mist hung over the fields of Falkirk, so thick it was hard to tell the smoke from the breath of men. In that haze, William stood. His armor was torn, dry blood caked on his cheek, his precious sword now just a piece of broken metal. Before him, the English army, superior in strategy and discipline, roared their song of triumph. But within him, he heard only one sound: the beating of his own heart, a painful, heavy beat. This was not just the loss of a battle, it was the collapse of a dream. Comrades were dead, surrounded, betrayed. The banner of resistance lay ruined in the mud. Everything he had built, from belief to the army, shattered in a single day. Where others saw an end, an irreparable tragedy, William felt something strange. Emptiness, but also the beginning of a new path. That night, in a ruined tent, he watched a dying fire alone. The wind outside was not just wind. It was the persistent call of the fallen souls, the constant reminder: you lost, you failed as a leader. Amidst the darkness and despair, a thought sparked, not from muscle or sword, but from the depths of his will. If I cannot win with a sword, I will win with belief. That defeat taught William the most expensive lesson. He could not directly confront the enemy's physical might. The Battle of Falkirk ended William's role as general, but it gave birth to a new William, a strategist of the human heart. The next day, he returned to the small burned village, where the people looked at him with disappointment, a chilling frustration colder than any arrow. William stood among them, offering no flowery words, only stating, "You call me a loser, but if this defeat helps me understand how to make the enemy afraid, how to make them never sleep soundly, then I have never lost." A small boy, representing the generation raised in war, looked up tremulously asking, "But how can we win when we have nothing left? We have lost everything." William smiled, his eyes blazing in the afternoon sun. "Precisely because we have nothing left to lose, we can do everything. I don't need an army, I need ghosts." From that day, his strategy changed completely. No more noisy attacks, no more direct confrontations. William vanished into the mist. Becoming a living legend, he used the smallest things, the rugged terrain, the harsh weather, and most importantly, the hearts of the indignant people, to turn the tide. He was no longer a general of an army, but a flame in the dark, a guerrilla resistance movement. They say that whenever English soldiers slept, they heard the neighing of a horse in the mist, and knew William was out there, watching them. He sowed psychological fear. No one knew where he was, but everyone felt he was everywhere. William realized that the true war was not fought on the battlefield. It was fought in the human mind, between the fear of oppression and the belief in freedom. He no longer fought for revenge, but to awaken a nation. He continued to fight for years, not to regain the title of guardian, but to sustain the flame. Once, an old friend asked him, "William, you are hunted everywhere. If you know you might be betrayed and die, why do you continue?" He replied, "Because some wars do not require survival to be won. They only require someone after me to dare to continue." William Wallace understood that his mission was not to survive, but to die in an inspirational way. And then, the day of betrayal and execution came. All of London held its breath. They tied him in the square, forcing him to kneel in shame. The executioner, as was the custom, asked, "Do you wish to beg for mercy?" William looked around. The people stood packed tightly, their eyes filled with both hatred and fear. This was his final moment and his final lesson. He smiled, a strangely peaceful smile containing liberation. He did not beg for life. He simply replied, "I do not beg for easy things. I only ask for the strength to endure this difficult thing." The sword came down. Silence. But no one heard the sound of loss. Because in that moment, William was no longer a man. He had completed his final strategy. He became the symbol of freedom, a fire kindled by his own sacrifice, a flame that burned centuries later, motivating Robert the Bruce to complete the war. We do not face the English army, but we face our own Falkirk, a cancelled project, a broken relationship, or an unachieved professional goal. Sometimes, losing a battle is not a permanent defeat. It's an urgent invitation from the universe to find another way to win. The strong are not those who always win, but those who know how to rise, shake off the ashes, and be reborn. Like William, sometimes we need the collapse to let go of old tactics and find our true strategy. Failure strips away the unnecessary, forcing you to confront the core question. What are you truly fighting for? For short-lived glory, or for an eternal flame? William Wallace's greatest victory was not at Stirling, but in his ability to turn his own collapse into an immortal flame in the hearts of others. If life is pushing you into a corner today, try stopping and asking yourself, is this the necessary defeat for me to find the way to win the war of my life? Share your story of a necessary defeat in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to find great lessons from history together.